to talk about 5 things that common newbie developers are making. So the first thing is that a lot of times they're not focusing on the fundamentals. So they're not really going into in-depth of the programming language or data structures and algorithms. Pretty important to know that in order to create and develop applications. That way you can make them faster, you can make them more reliable. So make sure if you're not already doing that, that you know the ins and outs of your preferred language, whether it be JavaScript, Python, Java, you name it. Just know the ins and outs, as well as the basic algorithms that come through sorting, searching, and all the little things that you can do to have a better user experience. Now, the second thing is, I'm guilty of it as well, is not finishing your projects. So I've noticed that this happens to me a lot when I'm not really interested in the project. A lot of times you find something online, what to make for beginners, and then it's a little challenging and you didn't even like it in the first place, so you're more likely to drop it. So how you can kind of avoid that is by choosing something that's relatively in your realm of expertise while still being of interest to you in whatever it is that you are, right? Or whatever it is that you're into. For me, that's mostly going to be anything that has to do with real estate, finance. Kind of boring that way, but that's what I find interesting. So making, like, I think a common one to make was like that clock thing. I'm not really interested in that, but I mean maybe you are. So make something that is interesting to you and that you will be more likely to complete it. The third thing is not working with other developers. So a lot of times either people are kind of they're not confident in their skills, or maybe they just don't want to be outed as not proficient enough as a programmer. I think you should put all that to the side, because it's more important to learn and grow and develop your skills by working with others that either know more about a topic, or share with others what you know about a topic, reinforcing that knowledge that you had in the first place. So that's why it's very important that you work with other developers, whether it be, physically, person to person, meet up at a coffee shop, whatever, or even online, right? And the perfect way to do that is open source projects. If you're a beginner, I would start with small open source projects. Personally, I'm not a fan of like doing the readmes. While important, I think it is a way to kind of touch your feet and everything, but I think it's more important to just like go into a code base, understand what someone was trying to do with it, how you can then improve or make changes to that code base. It's also really important. So start off small. What I mean by small is like, you probably make that app in like a week or two. You'll find a bunch of those apps everywhere. So just go on there, jump on, try to see if you can change some code. Don't try to start from scratch. I would not, unless you really want to. But I think you can get things cooler, or you can create things that are really cool once you kind of build off some sort of base. And if you're going from the ground up, it's going to take you longer. In the 2 weeks it took someone else to make it, it might take you 2 or even more. But instead, you can kind of take what they did, learn from them, and then add on to it, right? That's the whole point of open source. The fourth thing is thinking you're unqualified. So you should not think that you're unqualified. I mean, I know it can be kind of, you look at any of these job descriptions, right, and you'll see that it takes 5 years experience on some companies and still be considered entry level. And then on top of that, you need to know 12 other technologies that you probably never even heard of. And again, this is for an entry level position. So it can be really discouraging. It makes you kind of feel qualified. But again, try not to get too concerned about that. Most companies are looking for someone that will go in there and hit the ground running. And while yes, it is preferred that they have 5 years of experience, don't let that stop you from applying and finding out yourself whether you truly are unqualified, than rather just being just thinking that you're unqualified, right? You want to measure your how qualified you are by actually putting yourself out there. And the fifth most important thing is not taking criticism well. So a lot of times, some people ask me for resume help or whatnot, or some sort of help, and I'll give it to them. And sometimes people just they don't like constructive criticism. I'm not trying to offend anyone in any way. I'm trying to make it so that you have a more competitive, more thought out kind of process, whether it be applications or your code or anything. So make sure in code reviews or whatever it is that you're doing, always keep an open mind, because at the end of the day, you're never truly there. Part of the goal is consistently chasing something better, right? So being a better programmer, being a better developer, being better whatever. It all comes from taking constructive criticism and making something better. So those are the 5 common mistakes that you should avoid making, and overall, you're going to be a better developer once you do it. All right.